Hello, my name is Jürgen Willems, and in this presentation I give a short overview of our experiment study in which we test the effect of two types of signals that are meant to build the reputation of a non-profit organization. Building a strong reputation is crucial for non-profit organizations as it is a key factor to receive, for example, donations and to attract volunteers. Therefore, non-profits can think carefully about the signals that they send out in order to manage the perceptions of their stakeholders. And in this experiment, we look at two types of signals. On the one hand, we look at a formal signal, such as a certificate, where a third party, based on an official procedure, makes a claim about the quality of the non-profit organization. On the other hand, we look at an informal signal, such as a claim by the organization that they apply a certain practice or a philosophy, or they are following a new trend. In this study, we look at the signal where an organization claims to be social entrepreneurial, and we see whether that has an effect on stakeholder supporting intentions. Testing this social entrepreneur effect is a replication of an earlier study done by Andersson Self, which was published in Voluntas. So the hypotheses that we test are: a third-party certification has a positive effect on stakeholder supporting intentions and on perceived organizational effectiveness. Proclaiming to be social entrepreneurial has a positive effect on stakeholder support intentions and on perceived organizational effectiveness. The combination of proclaiming to be social entrepreneurial and a third-party certification has an even stronger positive effect on stakeholder supporting intentions and on perceived organizational effectiveness. With respect to methodology, we conducted an online experiment with 191 respondents. So respondents received a description of a non-profit organization, and afterwards we asked for their intention to support the organization. Based on the signals, we had two treatments. One was based on a third-party certificate, and the other was based on the self-proclaimed social entrepreneurial approach. And as dependent variables, we asked respondents for their intention to donate, volunteer, and to do an internship for the organization. And we also asked for their perceived effectiveness about the organization. Especially this last variable allowed us to replicate the study of Andersson Self. As an example, this is the basic description that respondents received about the hypothetical organization Ecoverse, with some information about their goals and approach. So 25% of the respondents received this basic information. As a first treatment, we started from the exact same description, but we added a certificate of a third-party funder. Another 25% of the respondent sample received this information sheet. For the third group, we added the claim that the organization is social entrepreneurial. Here are the three places in the text where we added the words social entrepreneurial. And in the fourth group, both treatments were combined, so we can test whether the combination of both treatments has an even larger effect. With respect to the results, we find a significant effect of the informal social entrepreneur signal on the perceived effectiveness, the intention to volunteer, the intention to do an internship, and we only find a significant effect for one of the two measures of intention to donate. So as a result, we confirm the earlier findings by Andersson Self, but we have to mention that the effect we found is rather small. However, no effects were found for the formal certificate signal. This is likely due to the fact that not all respondents paid sufficient attention to the information, as the experimental manipulation check at the end of our experiment showed that a large proportion could not correctly recall whether they saw a certificate. However, as you can see, the certificate took up substantial space in the information sheet. So we preliminarily conclude that certificates are not necessarily noticed in non-profit marketing, which is in line with earlier findings from the literature. What is interesting, however, is that for the group of respondents that correctly remember seeing a certificate, we found a significant negative effect on stakeholder supporting intentions. For this experiment, we used a hypothetical certificate, and therefore it was unknown to the respondents. As it was unknown, it might have been considered as a questionable way of window dressing, resulting in the negative effect of supporting intentions. Of course, to further investigate this interpretation, more tests need to be done to get an insight in how reputation of a certificate can spill over to the organizations that have the certificate. So from here, some next ideas can be further developed. For example, whether some stakeholder groups are more susceptible to self-proclaimed social entrepreneurship, or we can continue to test reputation spillover effects of certificates. This was a small overview of our study. More information about this project and about related projects can be found on the website below, and all suggestions for next projects are of course very welcome.